Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Real Talk with Saieed Ali. I am your host, Saeed. We do want to thank you for joining us tonight, Thursday, the 12th of April, 2022. Remember, we are also on YouTube and Facebook, social media platform. Real Talk with Saieed Ali live. Like and share our page, TT Real Talk on YouTube. Subscribe, hit the bell, and you would know when we go live, viewers. So a special good night to the Muslim community in Trinidad and Tobago and around the world who are celebrating the fasting month. Who's begging God for forgiveness at this appropriate time. I hope that Allah give them the health and the strength to go through their fasting and their supplication period in the month of Ramadan. So to my brothers and sisters on the Muslim faith, Assalamu alaikum to you and your family. So viewers, as we start off our program tonight, remember those of you that are interested in a 3.5%, contact me. For those in South, our office is closed. Maybe for the next 2 weeks in South, there's a little problem down there, you know. We're trying to rectify it, but nevertheless, we're going into trade. Trade and Industry Minister Paula Gopiskun has stated that the government has increased the availability, understand what I'm saying, the availability of foreign exchange for business sector. Gopiskun stated that the retail sector plays an important part of revitalizing the economy and the supply of forex has been increased through the Exim Bank. How many businessmen can go to the Exim Bank in Trinidad and Tobago and actually get US currency? She added, so here it is. Why only go through the Exim Bank? Why not go to the commercial banks that we have here in Trinidad? Why go to this specific bank? Why? Why Trinidad? She added that Cabinet approved an increase, listen this Trinidad and Tobago, an increase by US $100 million to facilitate for importers and manufacturers for the purchase of basic food, pharmaceuticals, and other related essential items in response to COVID-19 pandemic. So all of a sudden, in Trinidad and Tobago, the government finds $100 million to release it. All of a sudden. Where is the catch, Trinidad? Businessman? Where is the catch coming from? Why the Exim Bank? Why not commercial banks in Trinidad and Tobago? Why this particular bank? Why? What recommendation now does one required to go to Exim Bank to conduct business, to get US. How many businessmen in Trinidad and Tobago will get US? How many? Is it only the food chain and pharmaceutical? I'm asking. You see, I'm going to tell you something. Every time this government approves something for Trinidad and Tobago, there is always something behind it. Always. Always. I want to hear what you have to say. In the face of rising food price, she said, the government continues to monitor external factors which were beyond its control. Gopi Schoon also noted that it was unfortunate there is still a high level of reliance on imported goods and urge for the consumption of local foods. These ministers of them have absolutely no shame, you know. None whatsoever, you know. She is the Minister of Trade. Her colleague is the former Minister of Agriculture, Clarence Rambarat. How many agriculture sector in Trinidad and Tobago benefited from a grant to continue farming or continue planting crops in Trinidad and Tobago that we will be able to catch the export market in Trinidad? Gopi Schoon also noted that it was unfortunate that there is a still high reliance on imported goods and urge for consumption of local foods. If we're not getting the boost to have local food in Trinidad, how in God's good name in Trinidad and Tobago we're going to produce it and sell it if we're not getting a proper assistance? Gopi Schoon, how is that going to be possible? I'm asking. We had 2 years of pandemic in Trinidad and Tobago, and as the pandemic done, $100 million pumped into Exim Bank for businessmen to have access to. What happened before the pandemic? We had no money. I remember that Prime Minister saying, tighten your belt. While the Prime Minister telling you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, to tighten your belt, $3 million went for painting. Let's talk now. Let's talk now, man. I want to hear all you. I want to hear all you tonight. Tonight I want to hear all you. Tonight is Tune It Up Tuesday. I want to hear what you have to say. Two years and 6 months are back. Trinidad and Tobago didn't have US currency to supply businessmen in Trinidad and Tobago. 2.5 years up the road, 2 years in a pandemic. Trinidad locked down, business closed down, 75% of the people home in Trinidad, only the essential going out to work. But after 2.5 years passed, $100 million pumped into Exim Bank for businessmen to access. Hello, come here, man. Call her good night.
Hello, good night.
You're live on Real Talk, my friend. Go right ahead.
Yeah, this is a farmer calling concerning the agriculture and the farming. You have any idea what for a bag of salt now? It's $500 for a bag of salt.
It's true.
500.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what the farmers are going to right now.
Thank you, my friend. You see, I could tell you something. Where did this $100 million US came from? Where did it came from? Could the Minister of Finance indicate to us where this $100 million came from to pump him to Exim Bank so the businessman could get the money now? After, in a pandemic for 2 years, $100 million fall from the sky? I don't know, I'm asking. Because 2.5 years back, businessmen couldn't get, watch me, we getting $20. We had to put in an appointment, what were we, in April? We had to put in an appointment in the beginning of March to get $20 in the month of April. And then when you go to a commercial bank now, where you have your company business established in a particular bank, let me tell you something, you cannot even access your own US. You cannot access your own US currency in a commercial bank in Trinidad and Tobago where you have your company account, your business set up to bank money. You can't get it there, but you have to go to Exim Bank now where you will get the money. Why not release it to the commercial bank where I have my business account set up so I could get from that commercial bank? Because I have a US account in a certain bank and I cannot get it. What is the catch behind it, Paula? I am here to enlighten the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So businessmen, open your eyes. Not because they say they have $100 million, which means we go run down to Exim Bank and we go get $100,000 US. No, you have to have some catch behind it. Because if I could go to my bank, here what's going on now. I need 10,000 US. Well, Saeed, we see you have the money here, but you cannot get the money. But then am I a clown? Caller, good night.
Night.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Go right ahead, you're live on Real Talk.
Yeah. Say, farmers applying for loan to do their farming and carrying the business with all the years that they're paying and whatsoever thing. And they no loan from ADB right now. Yet giving the farmers, how the farmers running the business, they close down the business right now. Yeah, that's going on right now in Trinidad, boy.
Yes, I understand that.
And you're hearing money fronting all about in Trinidad and Tobago.
Yes.
But yet farmers not to start the business. Farmers' business closed down over 2 years now.
Yes. Thank you, my friend. Let me tell you something. Because I couldn't get US in the bank, I, Saeed, have to pay $8 for US. $80 to $1 US. People would say, oh, Saeed is black market, but the bank ain't giving me. My own money in the bank, I can't get it. I can't get it in the bank that I banking with, where I have a company account set up, but I have to go down to Exim Bank to get it. If my bank cannot give me, how the hell, in God's good name, Exim Bank is going to give it to me? What is the catch? Let me tell you something. I not yet a mama guy earlier, I yet to open all your eye that God gave all you. And I had to open all the ears for you to listen. The same ears to hear what the government is doing to you. Occupational Health and Safety Agency, OSHA, has denied statement by Couva South MP Rudinath Indarsingh that its chief inspector, Mr. Ali, resigned over being forced to sign the preliminary report into the accident at Paria Fuel Trading Company. OSHA stated that Ali resigned on April 5th when his contract came to an end, as he was engaged on a month-to-month basis. Just imagine this too, Just imagine this too. The chief inspector engage now on a month-to-month basis. If I am a chief inspector for OSHA, and I know on the end of March, my contract will end, don't you think from February or January I would start negotiation into another contract? Why month to month? We're talking about OSHA. We're talking about a safety company that is needed in Trinidad and Tobago. Interesting question whether Ali resigned because the preliminary report was tampered with, allegedly by OSHA chairman and executive director. These are the words, or this is the saying of Indar Singh, people. He also asked whether the acting chief inspector has been appointed after Ali's resignation. So if nobody, just saying, if nobody is appointed after Ali's resignation, who is the chief inspector for OSHA? OSHA said it immediately appointed France as a chief inspector in recognition of critical role and function of the chief inspector to operate for the agency and the overall safety and health of the population. OSHA is also trying to gather evidence for the report, but has been hampered by attorneys for the surviving diver and LMCL. OSHA is also trying to gather evidence for the report, but has been hampered by attorneys for the surviving diver and LMCS. We'll just have to wait and see. Those are the words of OSHA. But let's just wait and see how this rolls out. We're going to see who's blocking who from getting evidence. We're going to see who's blocking who. Because I know that Gerard Ramdeen would want everything to come out into the public domain. That I know about Mr. Ramdeen. Moving along, viewers. Minister of Health Terence Saieed Ali have stated that the Health Ministry is awaiting a response from Pfizer-BioNTech on their disposal mechanism for the 260,000 vaccine which expired on February 28, 2022. He stated that the vaccine had not yet been destroyed. February, it expired. 28th of February. Today is the 12th of April. And they are still waiting on recommendations on how to do the disposal. A month and 12 days after. Imagine that, eh? Just imagine that. Saieed Ali added that before vaccine can be destroyed, the government has to write to Pfizer International to get a disposal mechanism. Listen to this.
So before vaccines can be destroyed, we have to actually write to Pfizer International to get their disposal mechanism, and we have done that and we are awaiting their response. Thank you very much.
So I would love to ask the Minister of Health, if perchance that all vaccine is not used before the expiration date, what method can we, as the Health Ministry of Trinidad and Tobago, use to dispose of this COVID-19 vaccine? Common sense, Trinidad. Common sense. Because I will tell you something. I will tell you something. There are companies. There are companies. When a product is close to expire, they will let you know what to do with it when expiration date is reached. You have a head on your shoulder. You have a head on your shoulder. But not every head on every shoulder have a vision and have common sense. Understand what I'm saying? He also noted that the vaccine did not cost TNT any money, as they had been donated by the United States. The Azing also outlined measures being taken to deal with the distribution of fake vaccine cards. He stated that as of March 15, 2022, 7 matters are before the police service.
As of March 15, 2022, 7 matters are before the TTPS, of which 3 persons were charged for conspiracy to misbehave in public office, and the 4 other matters are currently being investigated. So that will give you some idea as to the prevalence.
In all cases, when vaccination cards are being issued, there is a document evidence of receipt of cards by the designated healthcare personnel. 2386716. How are you going to take the rise in fuel price come the 19th of April in Trinidad and Tobago? How are you going to deal with it? How are you going to address yourself when food price will go up, transportation will go up, fruits will go up, garden produce will go up, pharmaceutical will go up, clothes will go up, baby stuff and adult clothes will go up, children clothes also. How are we going to deal with it? How? Then Cabinet realized when they increase gas per liter, we're going to have a rippling effect in Trinidad. How are we going to deal with it? Trinidadians, Tobagonians? How are we going to deal with it? I tell you, this whole week, we will be talking about the rippling effect of the gas price in Trinidad and Tobago. You see, we wouldn't feel it now, you know. You see, by the end of April and the first week in May, then you will feel it. When everybody makes the adjustment, then you're going to feel it. Then you're going to know how much money you're ending up with in your pocket. What are we going to do? Are we going to stand up for our rights and persuade the cabinet into retracting the $1 that they have added on every liter of gas at the pump? Or are we just going to settle for the $1 added per liter at the pump? Keep in mind, Trinidadians, Tobagonians, keep in mind, Guyana removed the VAT from their gas Barbados dropped their gas price. Keep that in mind. But because of the war that is going on with Russia and Ukraine, our cabinet see it fit to raise the gas price. While 2 neighboring countries dropped their price, our ministry found it perfect, the correct timing to raise the gas price. Caller, good night.
Yes, good night.
Go right ahead. You're live on Real Talk, my friend.
Yeah, well, about this whole gas thing here, we need to come together.
Exactly so.
If we don't come together, nothing will happen.
Correct.
You understand?
Yes, yes.
I say, well, every system in the country have to shut down for this whole week.
Well said.
Or 2 weeks.
Well said.
You understand? That's the only way, and we show these ministers and them who in charge.
Yes, yes. You see, thank you, my friend. In France, they did it. They did it in France. What method or strategy is the Guyana government or the Guyana cabinet is using to help their citizens? And I'm asking the same thing to Miyamoto's cabinet. What strategy or method are they using to drop the gas price while war going on in Russia and Ukraine? Colin Members saw it fit. The cabinet saw it fit to raise the price. Huh? Let's talk to me. I want to hear earlier. This not just affecting Saieed. This affected the entire population of Trinidad and Tobago. Every sector, every train sector in Trinidad and Tobago going to increase their price. Even the man who's selling the doubles and the banana on the streets, the man who's selling the water on the corner, he will have to adjust his price. Water may no longer be $5, but $7. Imagine that. So here it is. Increase in fuel price have raised discussion among some taxi drivers and Maxi Drivers Association who are contemplating a hike in traveling fare across the country. However, President of the Point Fortin San Fernando Taxi Drivers Association, John Davis, stated that his association had decided not to impose any increase despite the recent fuel hike. David said his association, which represents 80 taxi drivers, were mindful of the financial stress poor people were facing. He noted that taxis were operating now at full capacity, and it was just 2 years ago that fares have increased. David said the traveling public was already overburdened, and noted that when Finance Minister Colin Members raised the gas price 3 consecutive times in the past, his association had not increased fares. Meanwhile, the Port of Spain Hospital Taxi Association stated that from Tuesday, the 19th of April 2020, fares will be slightly adjusted. Look at it there. Slightly adjusted. Port of Spain Hospital, their price will be increased. Caller, good night.
Yeah, good night. Good night.
Go right ahead. You're live on Real Talk.
Yeah, inshallah. Good night. Good night, brother. You talk about the gas price. You know just what hurt me about those gentlemen? When that gentleman was raising the gas 3 times, that man smiled, you know, right?
Yes.
I want people remember that. I want to get the clip. You play that. When you was calling, I raised it, you know, and he smiled. And I raised it, you know, and he smiled. I raised it, you know, and he smiled.
Yes,
I wanted to, you understand? The man smiling, you know, on a big white chair. You understand? And the next thing I want to say, I want to tell Cambon and David Mohammed, once them okay in this country, I cool. Once Cambon eating good and David Mohammed eating good, I good.
Thank you,
yes,
my friend.
They buy them out. They buy out.
Thank you, my friend. Now, kudos, I must say, kudos to the Point 14 San Fernando Taxi Drivers Association. But I go tell you something. With the increased price of shipping, this price, $1 per liter, when you add $1 per liter and your cars take 60 liters to fill, that is $60 more. And let's say you fill up your tank twice for the week. That is 60 by 2, that is 120. Hold on. 120 by 4, how much you get? 120 by 4 weeks, you're getting $500. $500 extra coming out of your pocket. I want you to understand that. 480, my mistake. $480 more coming out of your pocket. Now this is just to fill your tank. $480 more. Now listen this. When an individual who have a gas vehicle and doing sales, when you have to spend an extra 120 in sales, which means you will have to jack up your price on your product or produce to cover that gas price. Think about it. And while you're covering the gas price, think about maintenance of that vehicle automatically will go up. Think about it. Caller, good night.
Hi, good night.
Go right ahead.
I would like for you to use an issue where nursing students, because that nursing students haven't been getting any stipend for a year plus, and it have plenty students that left their jobs just to finish the clinical rotation, and it's really unfair that we're not getting any stipend at all and nobody not telling us anything. Thank you.
She gone? Thank you, my dear, for highlighting it. Finance Minister Colin Imbood has rejected claims from opposition UNC that the closure of the former state oil company Petrotrin Point-a-Pierre refinery in 2018 has resulted in the population having to pay higher fuel price. But I will tell you something. When Kamala was in power and the refinery was running, things was good. Businessmen could have gotten US at their commercial bank. Roads were being paved. Schools were being built. Fire stations were being built. Caller, good night.
Good night, Saeed.
My friend.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What you vote for, is that what you get?
Oh God, I understand what you're saying.
PNM. Like two fellas in a Maxi, one from Mova. They said they never see the greatest party in Trinidad is the PNM, and they're not voting for nobody else.
No.
Well, take it. I would not donate nothing for a hamper to feed them people.
But my friend, I just see the less fortunate, like the older people.
Old people getting pension, they may get supposed to nothing.
No, but understand what I'm saying. When you hear you get a pension for $3,000. Now keep in mind, this could happen to you and it could happen to me, even though I am a businessman. When you hear you get a pension at $3,000 and you go in the grocery and you spend $2,000 and then your medication coming up to $2,000, what's going to happen?
Well, you have to sacrifice.
We are to eat less. Is that how we eat less or we are take no medication?
Well, eat one meal a day, that's what they vote for.
Well, that's just
Right.
how it is. Thank you, my
Right.
friend.
Okay.
Thank you so much. Watchman, I tell you easy, you know. It's not easy. Food price escalating. Paula Gopi School saying, oh, it's unfortunate that we still have a high demand and we're not eating local. How much local we have planted? If you all stop importing things that we planted here, we go make it. We go make it. If the agriculture department in Trinidad and Tobago decide to boost agriculture in Trinidad, we go make it. You encourage the farmers. But when you're not encouraging the farmers and there is no help to the farmers, I am not going to plant at all. I would invest my money in something else. When we don't have help, let me tell you something, we ain't going to reach nowhere. We ain't going to reach nowhere. That is what I loved about Jack Day when he made his statement that we would use the resources of the oil sector to create other industry. So this year, next year, the oil sector fall. We have other industries on stream already. But in Trinidad now, before they put something in place, so when they shut down the refinery, we going to still have a production running. We going to still get US and Trinidad and Tobago. They may put Nick, neither not. So we ain't get nothing. Nothing going out, nothing coming in. We're going to end up like Haiti in the desert. Imbert described the claims made. He stated that it is necessary to remind commentators that in 2014, when the refinery was in full operation, the fuel subsidy liability to the government in that year was $7 billion. Listen to this.
It would also be remiss of me, Madam Speaker, not to address a fallacy that has been promoted and repeated in the public domain regarding the effect of the point-to-pay refinery on fuel prices and on the fuel subsidy. In this context, it is necessary to remind commentators that in 2014, when the refinery was in full operation, the fuel subsidy liability to the government in that year was $7 billion. This is what it cost taxpayers of this country to maintain fuel prices at subsidized levels in 2014. $7 billion.
Now Trinidad, the subsidy was costing the government $7 billion. How much $1 billion they were making in US? You're telling us the expense, but come out and tell us the profit. Don't just tell me how much it costs. Tell me the profit. If you're telling me the cost, tell me the profit. Don't bust a hole in the boat and tell me side go up to the top when you know I go sink. I want to know about how much you're spending. I want to know how much you're making. People wouldn't like me for that, you know. He also added that before its closure, the refinery daily throughout of oil was approximately 140,000 barrels of oil per day. Imbert further noted that this meant that every day the refinery operated, it was required to purchase 100,000 barrels of imported oil at world market price. Listen to
Before
this.
its closure, the daily throughput of crude oil through the refinery was of the order of 140,000 barrels per day, while Petrodin's production from all its fields was barely 40,000 barrels a day. This meant that every day that the refinery operated, it was required to purchase 100,000 barrels of imported oil at world market prices, which at today's prices would require foreign exchange of US $10 million per day to purchase oil.
$10 million per day. You're telling me it cost the government $7 billion. You're telling me the refinery needs 100,000 barrels per day. You're coming to tell me on a daily rate, you're spending $10 million. You're telling me everything column in both, but you're not telling me how much you're making. Why are you hiding the profit of it? That is what I want to know. Subsidies $7 billion. You need 100,000 barrels of oil per day. You're buying at world market price. You're telling me it costing you $10 million, but you ain't telling me how much money you're making. You're coming out with all the expenditure, but you're not coming out with the profits. Let me tell you something. When you buy raw oil, and you crack your oil, and you get your 3 or 4 different products from it, and you sell it back, at US world market price, let me tell you something, you're getting 3 times the amount of money, because when you crack oil, you're getting 4 different products. You're buying 1 product, but you're selling back 3 different products. And you want to tell me, Saieed Ali, and you come out on a platform with all your expenditures, and you want to tell me you are making? Let me remind you something again, Trinidad and Tobago. We do not have wheat in Trinidad, but National Flour Mill have been importing the wheat, making the flour, selling it for us, the citizens of Trinidad, exporting it, and they're functioning. And they're functioning. And both want to tell Saieed everything. It costing so much. We had to get this. We had to get that. How much you make? How much you make? Why you shut it down? What Paria Fuel doing? And they importing? And they importing and sell it and exporting. And what we take side for? Clung or what? Huh? That's why they say you will fool all the people some of the time, and you will fool not all the people all the time. Call a good night.
Good night, Mr. Ali.
Go right ahead.
Mr. Ali, today we had a meeting in Sanigani. The drivers. We plan the Valencia just 4 o'clock in the morning on the 19th. We parking with vehicle and we want everybody to follow suit. And all parts of Trinidad block the road. Nobody must enter Port of Spain or Arima or whatsoever. On 14, we want everybody to park up, and overnight we're living with vehicle. If it's 2 or 3 days, then I'm telling you.
Thank you, my friend. I'm going to tell you something. The taxi hub, whether it be maxi, whether it be taxi, whether it be page car, whether it be bus, let me tell you something. If you all the region heads of taxi association, if you all come together in one single meeting and come up with a solution to shut down the taxi service in Trinidad and Tobago for 1 week. Let me tell you something. We ain't protesting violently. Understand what I'm saying? You're hitting them where it hurts the most. Transportation. Transportation. KFC raised condiments by $2. In a couple days' time, they reintroduce free condiments to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago once again. Now let's come to Trinidadians. It's a simple thing to do it. Once the Taxi Hub Association come together, let me tell you something. Say 75% of the people in Trinidad and Tobago traveling. And when they decide to make it public, hey, hear this now. Saeed, your workers are coming in because they had to travel and transportation hub shut down. What does that do me? That does affect my production. But I can't say anything. You know why? You want to know why? We're standing up for our rights. We're standing up for escalating price on produce and products in Trinidad and Tobago. So what Saeed will do now, in cooperation with his workers, I will shut down my business for the day or two. I would lose 100, 200,000 now. But later on, I would save that money. Minister stated in himself that not only would there be a huge billion-dollar fuel subsidy liability to contend with, but there would, hear this, all I love this, there would be leakage of US millions in foreign exchange. How would there be leakage? How would there be leakage? If you have a proper board in place, there would be no leakage. How come there's no leakage in banks? Let's talk now. Let's talk now. Hey, let me tell you something. I am a horse of a different color, you know. I am a horse of a different color, you know. I come here for every creed and every race, find an equal place, you know. Caller, good night.
Yes, sir, good night.
My friend.
Yes, sir, concerning this gas issue, the only thing we could do there is send out a real strong message and everybody had a dumb tools and all people park up and let me see what they could do after that, because at the end of the day, them can't be raising gas price and them fixing no road, nothing for we inside.
Correct.
So why going on do I only going to put gas in my car and when I have a whole lot of pack up the car because the rim then the shocks bust? Why going on do that again?
Yeah, because price on shock will go up.
Everything going up.
Price on tire will go up. Price on engine oil, transmission oil, everything will go up.
The only thing going up is people's salary inside. Everything else going up, you know.
But it's easy out here, you know.
And listen, you're talking about this foreign, this forex, right? This US. Ask yourself, where to have a poll at night and ask all businessmen to call in and let us tell you how much US the bank giving them for the month side. If they get 50 US, they get plenty. Everybody buying US black market right now. Who afraid to say that? I telling you that right now. Everybody who run a business buying US black market. Because
I tell what call us $8 I paying.
I telling you that because the bank ain't even nobody know US. So when Chupin's calling member talking about leakage, I want to know who he giving all the US to. Because when Trinidad citizens go to the bank, they're giving you 40 US to the month side, 60 US. You could run a business with that. You even want to see that to go in a plane to go somewhere, boy. I don't know what Chupin is talking about.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah, you enjoy a nice side.
Here it is, Imbert. He added that Heritage Petroleum is now selling its oil at premium price and earning valuable foreign exchange. Listen this, Trinidad and Tobago.
Not only would there be a huge billion-dollar fuel subsidy liability to contend with, but there would be leakage of US $1 million in foreign exchange every day, and a requirement for Petrotrin to find US $10 million every day to purchase oil. This is what we evaded by the closure of the refining business through the restructuring of Petrotrin. These are the indisputable facts, Madam Speaker. Instead, Heritage Petroleum is now selling its oil at premium prices and earning valuable foreign exchange. I trust these facts correct the misconceptions being propagated in the public domain about this issue by self-interested or deliberately misinformed individuals. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Premium price and earning valuable foreign exchange. What is valuable? Precious. Something worth value to it. Where is the refinery going to find $10 million every day? Hey, Colin Imbert, you hearing me? I hope so. We have no wheat in Trinidad and Tobago. None. We don't plant it, we don't harvest it. Colin, and the flour mill working? And national flour mill functioning? And they're buying their wheat outside and they're selling it back to us? And they're exporting also? You trying to tell me the refinery, who in the oil business, who dealing with millions of dollars in US, you telling me where the refinery here for donkey years can't find $10 million daily? Colin. You will give your lavish speech. You will give your lavish speech in Parliament. But you would not come out and tell the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, after they purchase 100,000 barrels of oil per day, you would not tell us the cost of production. You would not tell us how much you're making profit, but you will tell me how much you spend to buy the oil. When you crack oil and you refine it, where you go get? Kerosene? You go get oil for car? You go get oil for transmission? Some other gas, you get it from oil. So you're getting 3-4 different products from oil at raw material, raw oil. Colin, what are you trying to tell? You trying to fool Saieed? Huh? You trying to fool Saieed? Or are you trying to fool the nation? Which one? What is the profit after you spend that $10 million? Just imagine Heritage Petroleum is now selling its oil at premium price and earning a valuable foreign exchange. Why couldn't the refinery be up and running and making that money instead of Heritage Petroleum? But no, we shut down the refinery to create a way for Heritage Petroleum. Well, they're good, you know. And they want to tell Saieed now, oh Saieed, the production was low, but Heritage making. If the production low here, how is it that Heritage making? Well, I feel Saieed is at you feel as a dodo head or what? Huh? Well, I feel there's a bacchanal. National Security Minister Fitzgerald Hines have stated that out of 1,796 closed-circuit television, that is CCTV cameras, the cameras installed throughout TNT, 733 are not fully functional or are non-functional. Hines stated that 1,060 CCTV were fully functional, with 733 considered to be either not functional, not fully functional, or not functional. Listen to this.
According to information received from the Commissioner of Police, as at February 28, 2022, there were 1,796 closed-circuit television cameras installed throughout Trinidad and Tobago. Of this number, Madam Speaker, 1,063 were fully functional, with 733 considered to be either not fully functional nor indeed functional.
Every year, security in Trinidad and Tobago take the largest chunk of the budget? Which company is responsible for the CCTV cameras in Trinidad and Tobago? We're talking about security, you know. This is what we're talking about. Security. Is our security in Trinidad and Tobago a first priority? Ask yourself that. Hines added that there were plans to install an additional cameras, but was unable to say what date the 733 would be fixed. He added that cameras are repaired on a routine basis and made functional.
Insofar as the date is concerned, Madam Speaker, I am unable for obvious reasons to say so. Reasons that I thought would be quite obvious to our friend on the other side. But insofar as what we will be doing about it, this is an ongoing exercise. As cameras become dysfunctional for one of 1,000 reasons, they are on a routine basis repaired and made functional to carry out the jobs that they are anticipated to do. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Was that Stuart Young sitting next to Fitzgerald Hines? Wasn't he the former Minister of National Security? For how long? Was it 5 years? How come he never mentioned that 5 years are back? One whole 5-year term by another 2-year term. How come he never mentioned that? And how come he never sought to fix that problem? When security in Trinidad and Tobago supposed to be first priority for police, in case a crime occurred in an area, they could get CCTV footage. Hence the reason why, don't forget this, hence the reason why the Attorney General came out with a policy that your front windscreen and your front glass should be tinted no darker than 35%. So when you commit a crime and you pass by a camera, they would be able to zoom in and get your picture. What happened to that plan? He also questioned you want video too? He also stated that Amin's question was banal and irritating. House Speaker Bridget Anderson George had to demand order. Oh, look at this.
Madam Speaker, to the Minister of National Security, the 733 cameras that are not functional, could you describe if it's in key hotspot areas?
Minister of National Security.
Madam Speaker, I am unable to provide an answer to that question at this time. It depends, of course, on what is considered a hotspot area and by whom. I am unable to answer that, Madam Speaker.
Member for St. Augustine.
Will the Minister be able to provide a breakdown of the areas that these non-functional cameras are in?
Minister of National Security.
Madam Speaker, I'm tempted to say that some people may consider the conglomeration of our friends a hotspot, but I wouldn't say that.
Member,
thank you.
I know you may have intended to put some levity into the proceedings, but I would like to suggest you withdraw that and just concentrate on the question. Thank you very much.
I withdraw that, Madam Speaker, and Madam Speaker, I must admit the question was so banal and irritating. I can't remember it. Would you remember repeat it, please?
Member?
Are you going to ask him to withdraw that, Madam?
I did.
About banal and irritating, because he is very banal and irritating all the time, and we don't complain here.
I am on my legs in case you're not seeing. Members, order.
Trinidad and Tobago and viewers of Real Talk with Saieed, Could you tell me what's wrong with that question that Amin asked? Could you tell me what was wrong with that question? She just wanted a breakdown on what areas CCTV cameras were not functional. You come to tell me 733 cameras not working, but you can't tell me where it's not working? So I started to ask myself, when Stuart Young was there, the Minister of Finance, the Minister of National Security, why didn't he do anything in his 5-year term to fix security and make it a #1 priority in Trinidad and Tobago, especially CCTV? Hines also responded on whether there are plans to install CCTV cameras at the heights of Aripo where the bodies of murdered victims have been found. He stated that in order for CCTV cameras to be installed at the heights of Aripo, now carefully consideration must be given to the site capability with this remote location. To end this, Hines stated that discussions with stakeholders are currently underway.
According to information again received from the Commissioner of Police, in order for CCTV cameras to be installed at the heights of Aripo, careful consideration must be given to the site compatibility, including the availability of electricity supply and the connectivity challenges at this remote location. In fact, Madam Speaker, consideration must be given to these issues as regards the possible expansion of the CCTV network throughout Trinidad and Tobago, including at Aripo Heights. To this end, discussions with stakeholders are currently well underway.
So viewers, we are out of time for tonight, but nevertheless, a rerun of this program is tomorrow from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. and we will see you right back here on Wednesday night for Public Concerns Night right here on Real Talk with Saieed Ali. Good night.